Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to 25th part of Real Estate App Development Series. In this part, we will implement the logic to filter the properties based on property purpose, category, subcategory, minimum price and maximum price. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. In onView created function of the home fragment, we will add the click listener on filter text view. Binding dot filter text view dot set on click listener. On clicking this text view, we will show the filter options as bottom sheet dialog. We will do the code to show the bottom sheet dialog in a separate function. So let's come at the start of this fragment class and create a new function, private function. Name of the function will be show filter dialog. In start of this function, we are going to create a simple log.t. First parameter is the tag and second parameter is the message we want to show. After creating the function, make sure to call this function in click listener of filter text view. We will use the view binding to bind the bs filter category.xml file with the bottom sheet dialog value binding bs equal to bs filter category binding dot inflate. Pass the layout inflator as parameter. Now we need to set that binding BS to bottom sheet dialog using. First of all, we need to initialize the bottom sheet dialog value. Bottom sheet dialog equal to bottom sheet dialog. Pass the context as parameter, which we have defined in class level with name mContext. Now we are going to set the content view to the bottom sheet dialog using bottom sheet dialog dot set content view. Pass binding bs.root as parameter. Now the next step is to show the bottom sheet dialog using bottom sheet dialog dot show. We need to save the values of selected filters in class level. So when user open the filter dialog next time, it will show the values which we have selected previously. Private variable. First variable will be filter purpose that will hold the purpose of the property, either rent or sell. By default, its value will be any, which means all properties will be shown, either it is for rent or sell. Now we need to create another variable, private variable. Name of the variable will be filter category. Similarly, we will create another variable with name filter subcategory that will hold selected subcategory of the property. Now we need to create another variable with name filter price minimum. Initialize it with the value zero point 0.0. So it will become of type double. Okay, now we need to create another variable with name filter price max that will be of type double and it is nullable. So if user has not entered any value in the price maximum edit text, this means user is not going to filter the properties based on maximum price. Okay, now come again in the show filter dialog function. We will add a check if not filter category dot is empty. This condition will be called if user has selected the property category. In that case, we will set the selected filter category to property category autocomplete text view using binding bs dot property category autocomplete text view dot text dot set text. Pass the filter category as parameter. We also need to create another condition if not filter subcategory dot is empty. This condition will be called if user has selected the filter category in previous. In that case, we will set that filter subcategory to property subcategory autocomplete text view. Similarly, we need to check if user has already entered a value in price minimum edit text using if filter price minimum not equal to zero point 0.0. This condition will be called if user has entered some value in price minimum edit text. So we will set that value to price minimum edit text using binding bs dot price minimum edit text. dot set text. Pass the filter price minimum since it is of type double and dot set requires the value of type string. That's why we have concatenated it as string. After that, we have created another condition. If filter price max not equal to null, this means user has entered the value in price maximum edit text. In that case, we will set the entered value in price maximum edit text using binding bs dot price maximum edit text dot set text and pass the filter price max as parameter as a string value because it is of type double and dot set requires a value of type string. Now we need to allow user to select the property purpose. For that, we need to add the click listener on the tabs, binding bs dot tab by text view or set on click listener. When user click this tab, we need to set the filter purpose to filter purpose equal to myutils dot property type set, which we have defined in myutils class. We also need to update the UI to indicate this tab is selected. Binding vs dot tab by text view dot set background results. The background shape is available in drawable folder with name shape rounded white. After changing the background of the selected tab, we also need to change the text color of the selected tab. Binding vs dot tab by text view dot set text color context compat dot get color. This will require two parameters. First parameter is of type context that we have defined in class level with name and context. And as a second parameter, we need to pass the color that is r.color primary. After changing the color of the text view, we need to make the text of the text view bold using binding bs dot tab by text view dot set typeface. As a first parameter, we need to pass the font, which we don't require, so pass null. As a second parameter, we will pass typeface dot bold. The next step is to update the UI of tab rent text view to indicate that tab is unselected. Binding bs dot tab by text view dot background. Since we need to remove the background of the tab by text view, so we have initialized it using equal to null. Now we need to change the color of this text view using tab rent text view dot set text color context compat dot get color. As a first parameter, we need to pass the context that we have defined in class level with name and context. And as a second parameter, we need to pass the black color r dot color dot black. After that, we need to change the style of this text view to normal using tab rand text view dot set typeface. As a first parameter, pass null because we don't need to pass the custom font. And as a second parameter, pass the style typeface dot normal. Similarly, we will add click listener on the tab rand text view binding bs dot tab rand text view dot set on click listener. In that case, we will change the filter purpose value to filter purpose equal to myutils dot property type rent, which we have defined in myutils class. Now we need to update the UI to indicate the tab rent is selected. In start of this click listener, we will update the UI of tab by text view to indicate this tab is unselected. Tab by text view dot background equal to null. This will remove the background of this text view. After that, we will change the color of this text view using tab by text view dot set text color context compat dot get color. As a first parameter, pass the context and context, and as a second parameter, pass the color r dot color dot black. We also need to change the style of this text view to normal using tab by text view dot set typeface. As a first parameter, pass null because we don't need to apply a custom font, and as a second parameter, pass the typeface dot normal. Now the next step is to update the UI of tab and text view to indicate this tab is selected. Tab by text view dot set background resource. r.tribal.shape rounded white. We also need to change the color. Tab rent text view dot set text color context compat dot get color. As a first parameter, pass the context, that is m context, and as a second parameter, pass r dot color primary. Now we need to update the style of this text view to bold. Tab rent text view dot set typeface pass null because we don't need to apply custom font. As a second parameter, pass the style, that is typeface dot bold. So far, we have allowed the user to select the property purpose. Now, we need to allow the user to choose a property category from the available categories. For that, we will declare the array adapter of type string in class level, private, variable, name it as string array property category, which will be of type array adapter of type string. For now, we will declare it as null label equal to null, and we will initialize it in the show filter dialog function. Similarly, we also need to declare another array adapter of type string for subcategory. So name will be string array property subcategory. Now come at the end of this function and initialize the subcategory array adapter string array property category equal to array adapter. This will require three parameters. First parameter is of type context that we have defined in class level with name mContext. As a second parameter, we need to pass the layout that will be used to show the property categories. We will use the layout file that is already available in the android.r.layout.simple list item 1. And as a third parameter, we need to pass the array of type string that we want to show as a list in property category autocomplete text view, which we have defined in class level with name property types. For example, forms, plots, commercial. Now we need to set that array adapter to the property category autocomplete text view using binding bs dot property category autocomplete text view dot set adapter. Instead of dot adapter equal to, we need to use dot set adapter, and in this we need to pass the string property category. Now the next step is to handle the item click listener for the property categories. Binding bs dot property category autocomplete text view dot on item click listener equal to adapter view dot on item click listener. This requires four parameters. First parameter is of type adapter view where the click happened. Second parameter is of type view within the adapter view that was clicked. And the third parameter is of type position, the position of the view in adapter. And the fourth parameter is the ID, the row ID of the item that was clicked. Now we will get and save the selected category. Filter category equal to parent, which is of type adapter view. Parent dot get item at position. Pass the position as parameter, which is of type integer. We need to cast it as a string because our property categories are in the form of string. Okay, now we need to show the selected filter category in the logcat using log.d. First parameter is the tag and the second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat, including filter category. Whenever users select the category, we need to reset the subcategory. Filter category equal to initialize it with the empty string and binding bs dot property subcategory autocomplete text view dot set text. Pass the filter subcategory which contains the empty string. Now the next step is to create a condition to check which property category is selected. If filter category double equal to my utils dot property types, pass the index 0 At the index 0, we have property category homes. So this condition will be called if user has selected the property category homes. In that case, we will set the subcategories according to that selected category. String array property subcategory equal to array adapter. This will requires three parameters. First parameter is of type context, that is M context. And as a second parameter, we need to pass the layout for the list item. That will be Android dot R dot layout dot simple list item one. And as a third parameter, we need to pass the property subcategories. That is property types forms, which we have defined in my users class, which are the subcategories of property category forms. Now we need to create another condition else if filter category equal to my users dot property types. This time pass the index 1. At the index 1 of property types, we have property category plots. So this condition will be called if the user has selected the property category plots. In that case, we will set up the array adapter according to that category. Copy the code and make sure to change the third parameter myutils dot property types plots. Now copy this condition and paste it. Filter category equal to myutils dot property types. Pass the index 2. At the index 2, we have property category commercial. Make sure to change the third parameter myutils dot property types commercial. Now the next step is to set that adapter to property subcategory autocomplete text view using binding bs dot property subcategory autocomplete text view dot set adapter. Pass the string array property subcategory as parameter. This will set the subcategories according to the selected category to property subcategory autocomplete text view. Now we also need to handle the item click listener for subcategories. For that we will use binding bs dot property subcategory autocomplete text view dot on item click listener equal to adapter view dot on item click listener. This will require four parameters same as we have done for the categories, so just copy and paste. After that, we need to handle the click listener of subcategory. We will save the clicked subcategory, filter subcategory equal to parent, which is of type adapter view, dot get item at position, pass the position as parameter, and cast it as string. After that, we have shown that filter subcategory to the logcat using log.t and pass the filter subcategory as second parameter to show in the logcat. Now we need to handle the click listener for the reset button. Binding bs.reset button dot set on click listener. When user click this button, it will dismiss the bottom sheet and clear the selected filters. Filter purpose equal to myutils dot property type any and filter category equal to empty string. Similarly, filter subcategory equal to empty string. Filter price minimum will be 0.0 and in the last, filter price maximum will be null. We have assigned same values as we have assigned in the class level. In the last of this click listener, we also need to call the load properties function. Okay, now we need to add click listener on the apply button. Binding bs dot apply button dot set on click listener. When user click this button, we need to apply the selected filters. Before applying the filters, we need to validate if filter purpose double equal to myutils dot property purpose any. This condition will be called when the user open this dialog and does not click any tab. In that case, we will assign the filter purpose. Filter purpose equal to myutils dot property type cell because by default the tab cell is selected. If filter category dot is empty, this condition will be called if user has not chosen any category. In that case, we will set error to category autocomplete text view because this is required. Binding bs dot property category autocomplete text view dot error equal to choose category. We will also move the focus to that autocomplete text view using binding bs dot property category autocomplete text view dot request focus. To stop proceeding further, we will use the return statement. Similarly, we need to create another condition for the subcategory. If filter subcategory dot is empty, this condition will be called if user has not selected any subcategory. In that case, we will set error to the subcategory autocomplete text view using binding bs dot property subcategory autocomplete text view dot error equal to choose subcategory, and we will request the focus to the subcategory autocomplete text view. To stop proceeding further, we will use the return statement. Now the next step is to validate the minimum price and maximum price. For that, we need to input the values of minimum price and maximum price in separate variables. So let's start by inputting the value of minimum price. Value price minimum equal to binding bs dot price minimum edit text dot to string dot trim. Similarly, we will input the maximum price value, name the variable as price maximum equal to binding bs dot price max edit text dot to string dot trim. Now we will validate the price minimum. If price minimum dot is empty, this condition will be called if user has not entered the minimum price. In that case, we will assign the filter price minimum with value 0.0. After that, we have created the else statement, which means user has entered the minimum price value. In that case, we will assign the filter price minimum equal to price minimum dot to double. Because price minimum is of type string, filter price minimum is of type double. That's why we have converted the price minimum to double. After that, we have created another condition to validate the maximum price. If price max dot is empty, which means user has not entered the value of maximum price. In that case, we will assign the filter price max with value null. Filter price max equal to null. After that, we need to create an else statement, which will be called if user has entered the value of maximum price. In that case, we will assign the filter price maximum equal to price max dot to double. Filter price max is of type double. Price max is of type string. That's why we have converted it to double. And with that, validation is now completed. Now we need to dismiss the bottom sheet dialog and call the function load properties. Now the next step is to start filtering the properties based on selected filters. We will do that in a separate function, private function. Name of the function will be is property matching filter. This will require a parameter of type model property. Name it as property. Type will be model property. Return type will be boolean. This function will return the value true if the property matches with applied filters. Otherwise, it will return false. First of all, we need to check if user has applied the filters or not. We will do that on basis of filter purpose. If filter purpose double equal to myUtils.property type any, this means user has not applied any filters. In that case, we will return the value true. Okay, now let's start filtering the property by starting from the property purpose. First of all, we will check if property purpose matches with the purpose that user has selected. Value, name the variable as matches purpose equal to property dot purpose dot equals. As a first parameter, pass the filter purpose, and as a second parameter, pass true, which is for ignore case. The next step is to match the property category value. Matches category equal to property dot category dot equals. Pass the filter category as a first parameter and as a second parameter pass true. Similarly, we will filter the property by property subcategory. Matches subcategory equal to property dot subcategory dot equals pass the filter subcategory as first parameter and as a second parameter pass true. After that, we have created another variable of type boolean with name matches all types. This will become true only if property purpose, category, and subcategory matches with the filters that user has applied. After that, we need to create another variable of type boolean that will be used to filter the property based on minimum price and maximum price. Property dot price greater than equal to filter price minimum and filter price max double equal to null, which means user has not entered any value in the price maximum edit text. Because we have allowed the user to filter the properties without entering the maximum price of the property. After that, we have created the condition with or property dot price less than equal to filter price max. This means user has entered the value in maximum price edit text. So in that case, the price of the property should be less than or equal to the value in filter price maximum. In the last, as a final, we need to return either true or false based on matches all types and matches price. So if the values of both variables are true, then this will return true, otherwise it will return false. Okay, now our next step is to show the applied filters on filter selected text view. If filter purpose double equal to my util stored property type any. This means user has not applied any filters. In that case, we will set text to the filter selected text view dot text equal to showing all, which means user has not applied any filters. After that, we have created an else statement, which means user has selected the filters. In that case, we will show the applied filters to that text view. Filter selected text view dot text equal to showing value of filter purpose, value of filter category, and value of filter subcategory. Now, the last and most important step is to filter the properties based on filters. In the if statement, we will add the AND operator and is property matching filter. Pass the model property as parameter. Now, the first condition to show the properties is it should be within the required distance, and if user has applied the filters, then the property should also match with those filters. For example, property purpose, category, subcategory, minimum price, and maximum price. And with that, our code is now completed. So let's start testing the project. For that, run the app in an emulator or in real device. While the project is running, copy the tag that we have defined in class level and paste it in the log cat. So it will show only those logs which are printed using this tag. When the app runs successfully, click the filter option, click apply. It will show error on the category. Choose category homes, click apply. Now it will show error on the subcategory. Choose the subcategory, click apply. This will show only those properties that matches with the property purpose, category and subcategory that user has selected. It will also show previously selected values to our dialog. Now this time enter the value in minimum price edit text and click apply button. This time this will also filter the properties based on minimum price. Click the filter option again and this time enter the value in maximum price edit text and click apply button. This will also filter the properties based on maximum price. It has shown no properties because there is no property that is within that price range. Click the filter option again and click reset button. Now this will show all properties which are within the required distance. Click filter option again. Choose rent tab. Category will be commercial. Subcategory will be shop. Click apply button. Now this will show properties which are in the purpose rent, commercial, show. Click reset button. Again, this will show all properties which are within the required distance. Enough for that, we will continue from here in next part.